ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालां पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातधं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I know there was change in the time, and that would have impacted planning of the other devotees. But next few weeks going to be like this because I'm planning to go India. I have some personal thing to take care, so we'll have to definitely adjust the timing. And Mataji, you can send the survey, seeing if 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, the max, is okay with devotee. Definitely 11 o'clock time is a little odd in the middle of everything.
Mm.
And sometimes, it becomes very difficult for me to manage it because I have other services to do and I have my personal thing also to take care. So we are in Isopanisad. Today we are going to study verse number 14. And this verse comes under the section of Sambhuti and Asambhuti. So Sambhuti is independent supreme personality of Godhead, and Asambhuti is those personality who are dependent on Krishna. And we have to know both as part of Vidya and Avidya, right? Because this is month of the Sahara or time of the Sahara, and you can see, how much interest people have to worship Mother Durga, which is nothing bad. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that, and you all can remember this statement. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that depth of your faith, whatever practice you have, is reflected by having respect for other faiths. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that wherever they are looking for me, but it has to gradually go up, 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 and up. And that's what we are talking about. We are not saying that the practice and faith that one has is not important. It's definitely very important because that's how they will gradually progress, but also it has to gradually progress. So that's what that if one has understanding of what is Sambhuti and what is Asambhuti, then they will lead toward immortality. That's what we are going to study. Today's verse is having knowledge of both Asambhuti and Sambhuti grant immortality. Living being does not have to come through the cycle of repeated birth and death. So few devotees, by the way, already had told me that they are not going to attend today because they have some other personal reason. So even if you do 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock, they were not supposed to be coming today because they have some personal thing going on in their life. I received the message from them. So don't be discouraged. I was expecting the 4 or 5 devotees today. Either we do in the morning or we do in the 11 o'clock, whatever time we do. So not discouraging. Just want to let you know. So we are talking about Shambhuti and Asambhuti. Asambhuti leads to darkness, and Sambhuti leads to even greater darkness. And here we are talking about knowing Krishna as a person versus knowing Krishna as his impersonal form. So one may approach Krishna, but if the understanding is impersonal, that even leads to greater darkness. Because personal understanding of Supreme Personality of Godhead is absolute understanding. And then both Sambhuti and Asambhuti has their own goals. We read last time that if you want to go to Kolkata and if you buy the ticket of Mumbai, you would never reach to Kolkata. Or if you buy the ticket of Mumbai and you want to go Kolkata, you never reach to Kolkata. So you have to know where your destination is, where your goal is, where you are heading towards, and you proceed accordingly. And then the last verse is we have to know both Asambhuti and Sambhuti, and that will grant immortality. So let's get into uh, this verse. So this verse is Shambhutim cha, and here Sambhutim is defined as Lord Sri Krishna, name, form, quality, and pastime. Binasam cha, and then Shambhutim cha, Binasam cha. These two things we have to know. The Sambhutim here, name, form, quality, or pastime, supreme personality of Godhead, which are eternal. These are not going to be destructed. And then there are other elements which are going to be destructed. And what is that? This entire material creation, the demigods, the humans, the animals, everything else that we are seeing is going to be destructed. So Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita that, oh Arjun, close your eye. If you look around, you will find that there are two things, Chara and Achara. This creation has living entities, or this creation has materials, dead matter. So Sambhutim cha, the absolute Lord, his form, quality, and pastime, that is eternal. So whatever relationship we have developed with Krishna, that is eternal. Whatever name we are chanting, that is eternal. So Krishna is Sambhuti. And then there are other elements, which is elements that's going to destruct it over the time. And then he says, this verse says, Yastad Vedo Ubhayam Shaha. A devotee must know both. So we have to know both. What is supposed to be eternal and what is supposed to be destructed. Vinasena mrityum tirtva Sambhute amritam ashnute. So this body, the body that we have, is going to be destructed, right? So we are on the process of transmigration to transmigrating Janma to Jarabadi. We are going through this repeated birth and death. So one who is in perfect knowledge of what is Sambhutim and what is Asambhutim, elements which are going to be destructed, they surpass Vinasena Mrityum Tirtva. They surpass this repeated birth and death. Mrityum Tirtva. They cross over this repeated birth and death. Who is they? The one who are more of Shambhutim and Asambhutim. And what happens after transmigrating this repeated birth and death? Shambhutayam Amritam Ashnute. They regain their original identity. Amritam, eternal. Amritam is nectar. They regain their eternal life. Shambhutyam. Shambhutyam is back to Supreme Personality of Godhead, back to Godhead in association of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. The living entity regains their eternal identity. And we call it Sharup, Sharupa. We regain our lost original identity. So this is the verse. This verse is summarizing. Then one must, sometimes we say, oh, why knowledge is important? This knowledge is not the Jnani type of knowledge. This knowledge is bhakti knowledge. The knowledge that we're talking about is knowledge about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna says that we must know that. We must know what is Shambhutim and what is Asambhutim. What is subjected to be destructed. And by knowing this, what by knowing this, what does really means by knowing this? Practicing. So that's what we'll see in the purport. Prabhupada will say, by knowing this means one should practice. One should practice the process that will help one regain their original identity. Okay, so this is very beautiful verse, concluding verse that says that one must understand both what is eternal and what is subject of destruction. So this entire commentary by His Evangelist Prabhupada, Prabhupada's purport, has these three major sections. First, he talks about the material world, which is place of death and subjected for destruction. Vinasenam, vinasena mrityum. This is going to be destructed, and this is a place of annihilation. So first we have to know where we are, and as we are staying in this material world, we have to stay in touch with Vedic teachings, like we all are. That will tell us what is beyond it, right? That's what we all are doing. We are trying to understand what we are in today and what is out of this uh, material creation. We have to have the news. Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Maharaj said that we need to have the news. Right? Newspaper is coming. We are not everywhere, but reading the newspaper, we know what is happening around. So likewise, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and all the Vedic literature, they are the news of the spiritual world, right? And they tell that where we are and where our goal should be. And once we understand that, then we take the process of avidya. We take the process which are bona fide, which are given by scriptures. And by taking that process, finally we transcend the repeated birth and death and attain the original identity. So very sequential way Prabhupada's comment on this particular verse. Know where we are, be aware, read the newspaper that is talking about the spiritual world, and take the process that is coming to you and back, go back to Krishna. So is it clear so far, devotees, before we proceed? So this is the theme now. We are going to build around this theme. Is it clear so far?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prasanna Prabhu, is it clear? You say yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Can you summarize what we have been talking, please, Prabhuji?
yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. So the today text is about knowing both Sambhuti and Asambhuti. Um, Sambhuti Sambhuti with misguided knowledge is a greater darkness. It's go nowhere. We will no go back to the Godhead. Um, but again, Sambhuti with knowing the fact Krishna is super personality of Godhead. That's our knowledge is the actual knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Asambhuti again is a darkness which is independent. It's Asambhuti like a demigod. They are not independent. They are dependent. They don't exist independently. And knowing both, it helps, um, you know, to gain the our swarupa form, like go back to the Godhead, Krishna. This is what Prabhu I understand. And again, it's
Yes.
eternal versus distracted. The spiritual Sambhuti is a spiritual knowledge, Asambhuti is a material knowledge, and our Veda scriptures talks both about it. So that devotee must know both. It helps to progress in his spiritual life and go back to the Godhead.
Yes. I think you got it. That's perfect. Yes, that's what I have been trying to talk. Yes, Prabhu. So let's get into the purport. So first part, this material world is place of misery. And we know that this is known as Mrityu Loka, which means, because said, death is 100% granted. Doesn't matter which part of the country you live, where you live, how you live, death is 100% granted. Death will must come because every living entity going through these six bodily changes. They take birth, then they grow, then they maintain adulthood. You come at some point where you are maintaining your body. They take part in procreation, and then they start dwindling, or they start annihilating slowly and slowly, and we meet death. So this is true with all the creation, every living entity, everything that is existing out there is going through these six bodily changes. And then there are problem of death, birth, old age, and disease. And as a human being, we also go through these four mistakes that we have. So Janma Mritu Jara Vyadhi is a problem of a living entity, and false ego is extremely dominant. This false ego is basically misleading us. You all are misled by this false ego. I don't know when this false ego will go away, my dear Lord. It's too much. Yes, false ego creates misidentity. And one of the misidentity is I'm the controller. Wherever we are, whatever we are doing, we think that I control it. And then living entities who are trapped into these bodily changes, caught by these four problems, and have the mentality of being the controller, they are going through this process of transmigration. So come and go, come and go, come and go. This will continue. So that first we have to know. You have to know that we are in the material world. You all have to meet death. We are going through all types of problems. Bodily changes are happening. We have the false ego, and we are caught into cycle of transmigration. But then there is Vedic teaching, and Vedic teaching, or the teaching that is telling us the truth. Okay, and what is that truth? The truth is that Krishna has these two energies, Lord's energies, right? Sometimes we call it even three energies, but two energies: para prakriti and apara prakriti. Apara, lower; para, higher. So, a spiritual world, three-fourths of the entire creation, is spiritual creation, and one-fourth is material creation. So, Vedas, how we know this? Vedas are teaching. Krishna says three padviviti, one padviviti. So We are hearing and we are learning this through Vedic teaching. So differences are created. Hey, you don't think that you cannot see beyond of what you are trying to see, but be aware that this is all within one fourth. There is bigger creation, and you are supposed to be part of that creation, not where you belong to. Don't get caught up into this one. Who is saying that? The Vedic teaching are saying that. And then this material world, this material creations, different planets, everything that we have, Bhuvar, Mahar, Swarga, Jana Loka, all of these lokas, seven heavenly planet system or seven hellish planet system, all of these planets are subject of destruction. All of them have to be destructed. And how destruction happen? We'll see in the next slide. There are four types of destructions that's happening. So we are destructing. All of us are destructing. Okay, we have gone through those six changes, or we are going through those six changes. So how those uh, destructions are happening? There are three states, and that's called avyakta. Avyakta. Three, in a very consolidated way, there are three state or three, segment how things are being conducted or how things are being destructed. The first one is, and we'll get into details of this, but to keep it more concise, the next slide will talk about this. There are destruction happening during the night of Burma. So Burma has day, and that day has uh, Manus, 14 Manus, and each Manu has 73 Divya Yuga, and each Divya Yuga has this four Yuga. So very huge time Lord Brahma has. And his day is everything in Vyakta forma, in existence. It's functioning, it's working. But when in night comes, everything get distracted. Then again, when it days comes, everything starts functioning. Night comes, get distracted. So this is happening on a bigger time scale, not between yours and ours, lifespan. Ours and yours lifespan within Kali Yuga, 100 years of the max age at some part of Kali Yuga. It's like very tiny. But we are going to witness all of that in different forms, in different features. So that's one type of unmanifestation. And the second one, that this universe has its own life. So day and night definitely are seeing some creation and destruction, but also this entire universe, earthly planet, has its own lifespan, and that is lifespan of Lord Brahma's. So as human being lives 100 years, Lord Brahma also has 100 years. But the final, which is absolute truth, that does not go through any changes or the spiritual realm. So on the other hand, we are seeing these changes day and night at the life of Lord Brahma's. But on the other hand, that spiritual abode is not getting distracted. So living entity has to know the time frame might look too big, but you all are subjected to be distracted. This is beautiful, beautiful words that's coming from Vishnu Puran, which is cited in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhalila 6th chapter. It says that Vishnu Shakti Praproktaha. Lord's energy, Lord Vishnu's energy is para proktaha. Prokta, uktaha, proktaha. Uktaha means something that can be explained. Okay. Something that can be explained by words. Uktaha. And this is proktaha, para proktaha, beyond one's explanation. So Vishnu Shakti, para proktaha. Lord's energy is innumerable. One cannot enumerate it. Kshatragya akhya tatha para. And the knower of the body, they have, they have, so knower of the body is soul and super soul. So knower of the body has explained that. They have not explained, but they have realized that. How they have realized? Avidya, karma, shamaganya, tritiya, shakti, ishyate. However, great learned sages or liberated souls have studied these energies. So these energies, what are these energies? These are presented in form of avidya. Vidya we are talking about, right? This is presented in form of avidya. What is avidya? Avidya brings one in complete forgetfulness of Supreme Personality of Godhead, or is presented in the form of karma or jnana or other yoga, right? But one has to know that these energies of Supreme Personality of Godhead has three parts. So these energies are presented in three parts. And what are the three parts? We say that a spiritual energy and inferior energy, and then there is Tata Shakti. Okay. So here we are trying to talk only two part of energy, para prakriti and apara prakriti. So para and marginal are put together. So this says that Tritya Shaktir Ishyate, as we know that Lord Krishna has this three divine energy. What is that energy? Para prakriti, apara prakriti, and tatastha shakti. So para and tatastha are put together, and that is superior energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Jiva, or Chara Shakti, Chara and Achara. Chara Shakti is superior energy, and Achara Shakti is inferior energy. Okay. So these activities that we see, what are those actions? Action that we see or action that is in avidya, completely in forgetfulness of Krishna. And those actions are very dominant in animals, animal kingdom, plant kingdom. You see, they're completely in forgetfulness of Krishna. They have no idea of who Krishna is, who they are, Janmitu Jara Vyadhi. They are engaged in this four so-called action of the living entity. Higher than that, there are some beings who are engaged in karma. If I don't work, who will take care of me? Action is everything. There are some who are engaged in Jnana Yoga. There are some who are engaged in just mystic yoga. So there are different way Krishna is functioning. But Jnani, a learned man, knows that these are all different energy of Krishna. And knowing this apara prakriti, this inferior energy, what he does, he strive to know the prakriti, superior energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this verse is along the same theme that we have been discussing about, which is knowing the superior energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must know what is the superior energy. And we also know the action that we are engaged in is just a manifestation of Krishna's different energy. So if we don't have faith in Krishna's form, if we are in forgetfulness of Krishna, or if we are giving privilege to karma or jnana or any other form of yoga, we should know that we are dealing with one form of energy of Krishna. And our goal is to go up and understand what is the purpose. The purpose is basically to know the Sambhuti, Supreme Personality of Godhead, as a person. And then what we do for that, we have to engage in the bhakti process. So that's what Prabhupada will talk next. Santa Mataji, are you trying to ask something?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So, we are talking the uh, spiritual energy or external energy,
Yeah.
para prakriti, right, Prabhu?
Paraprakriti is spiritual energy, aparaprakriti is external energy, right?
Yeah, spiritual energy,
External,
spiritual
internal, and
energy.
marginal also we call it.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to
So
ask, Prabhu.
internal and
So,
marginal is paraprakriti and
and so,
external is aparaprakriti.
okay, so ideally, spiritual energy comes in para prakriti and internal one, right, Prabhu? That is
Yeah, yeah.
Jiva and okay.
Paramatma.
And yeah, Paramatma. And Maya comes in external energy and apara prakriti.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yes, yes, Mataji. That's true. Yes. So internal, external. So internal and marginal is put together, and that's called paraprakriti. And external energy is Bhiranga Shakti. Sometimes we call Bhirang Shakti, Antarang Shakti, Tatas Shakti. So Antarang Shakti and Tatas Shakti put together is Paraprakriti. And Bhirang Shakti, external energy, is Aparaprakriti. So here it should say Apara. I see that there is some misspelling. Clear? Anybody has anything before we go to the next slide? Yes, Mataji, that what you said is correct. That's right understanding. Anything else? Okay, so this slide you have seen it. Should I go through it or should I just pass it? Are you all aware with this slide? Can somebody tell me something? I think I
Yeah,
have
we
talked
can.
about it.
Yeah, you talked about it, but we want one more time, Prabhuji.
Okay, so this is talking about how there are different types of avyakta, unmanifestation or destruction of the living entity happening. And this is also called Parlaya. So this is very important since we are talking about this subject. It's very important that we know how we are being destructed. So the very first type of destruction is Nitya Parlaya, constant annihilation. And we all are being part of it. When we say that now, we are getting old, body is getting old, and it's losing its, power, it's Nitya Parlaya. Exactly, it's Nitya Parlaya. Because we are youth, all of these people, all the kids who are youth right now, they all have to become, right? They have to, and then the new generations will come like that. So things are reshuffling, things are coming and going, coming and going. So Nitya Pralaya, constant annihilation. Okay, we all are going through this. And then the second one is Namitika Pralaya. So last one in the bottom, and then from there I'm jumping all the way on the top. Namitika Pralaya. And Namitika Pralaya is cyclic destructions. So there is one Pralaya that happens at the end of Lord Brahma's life. And then there is one second one that happens every day. So Namitika Parlaya is the Parlaya that happened at the end of the Brahma's life. So Lord Brahma has his life and Kali Yuga, and then twice of the age of Kali Yuga is Dwapar Yuga, Twice of the age of Dwapar Yuga is Treta Yuga, and twice the age of Treta Yuga is Satyuga. So if you sum everything together, Satyuga is 10 times longer than Kali Yuga. And that makes one Divya Yuga. There are 73 Divya Yuga in the life of one Manu, and then there are 14 Manus. So if you sum everything together, it comes 1000 Divya Yuga in one day, which is 1000 Kali Yuga, 1000 Dwapar, 1000 Treta, 1000 Satyuga. That's the life. That's the day. That's the day of Brahma. And that day has again uh, multiple Manus and Divya Yuga. And Lord Brahma's month is of 30 days. His year is 365 days, like our days and months are, and years are. And then likewise, he had 100 years. So his life is very, 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 very big. So one destruction happens at every day of Lord Brahma's, and that is called partial Parlaya. Here it's called Namitika Parlaya. So that partial Parlaya, when it happens, everything below uh, Dhruva get destructed. So those three Loka, higher than Dhruva Loka, three Lokas stays. Otherwise, rest of the creation get destructed for one night. And how to understand that? We work in an office. We get up in the morning, we get ready, go work whole day, and in the evening when we are coming, we close the door, turn the light off, we come home, take rest. Next day again we go turn the light on, and start working. So like that. When Burma is taking rest in the night, he just turns everything off and he takes rest. And the next day he goes turn on and starts working. So this is cyclic destruction. And then the second one on top and third type of destruction is Prakritika Parlaya. And that is the destruction which happens when the entire material universe are completely destructed. So Naimitika destruction is partial destruction, but Prakritika Parlaya is complete destruction. Completely this universe, all 14 planetary system that we call 14 planetary system, all of that gone. It's all completely destructed. Okay, that happens when Lord Brahma's 100 years are completed. When Lord Brahma becomes very old and his 100 years are completed, he also meets death, and then this entire creation is destructed. But while this Nitya Pralaya, we all are subjected to it every day. Nitya Pralaya is the one that we are evidenting. We are evident to each and every day. So Nitya Pralaya, Prakritiki Pralaya, Naimatika Pralaya, as these Pralayas are going, while these all are going, in that living entity has the opportunity. And that opportunity is what we wanted to highlight. That is the opportunity when living entity can engage in process of devotional service. Living entity can engage in process of bhakti. And when we are engaged in that process, then while this Nitya Parlaya, Naimitika Parlaya, or Prakritik Parlaya are still in the process, still going on, we can skip. We can skip and go back to home, back to Krishna. So that's what this verse is teaching us. That hey, you know that there is Sambhuti, and you know there are Asambhuti. So Atyantika Pralaya, that destruction that happens by power of devotional service. So we meet our death, but we have performed sufficient bhakti that will go back to home, back to Krishna. And this Pralaya is says killing of one's false ego. Avidya creates false ego. and that false ego cause all the illusion. So by engaging in devotional service, any point of time we can skip this nitya parlaya which is happening, you know, every day, every minute, every second. We started, we were something else. Now by the end of this class we'll be 1 year, 1 hour old. Body has gone through some changes. So that's what we have to know. We have to know that we have the opportunity. You don't have to really go through this all Namitika and Prakritika Parlaya. Rather, you can skip. You don't have to go through the process of transmigration and finally everything has to be destructed and getting into the body of Garbhu and then finally Karnodakshay Vishnu. All of that you can skip. And you can skip that by process of bhakti. Okay. So Atyantika Parlaya, ultimate annihilation, is what we are looking for. And what that does to it, that once living entity regains its original state, then it's at the feet of Krishna. One's soul is out of conditioning. Out of conditioning means purified. So conditioned state is impure state. Impurities are there in conditioned state. So once we have revived our pure state, then we are back to Krishna. So that's what basically, this slide is talking, that there are different process such as karma process, gyan process, and yoga process. The whole teaching of first six chapter of Bhagavad Gita you can recall here. Okay. Finally, Krishna says that all of these processes are great, but you need to engage in the process of devotional service. Now it will make sense to you, the flow. We have to engage in the process of devotional service because devotional service will give you atanta parlaya. Any moment of time, this life, if we perform the devotional service, we can go back to home, back to Krishna. Because every living entity should have desire to go back to home, back to Krishna. Okay. And how the process of bhakti begins? The process of bhakti begins by surrender. Sarapadi bindu mukte tatprotena nirmalam. Rishikena rishikesa shavanam bhaktir uttamam. Surrender has to, when we talk about surrender, don't take in a wrong way, like, the corpses that surrender and the heart ties. No, it's basically subdue our false ego, false identity. I'm men, I'm women, I'm North Indian, I'm South Indian, I'm Indian, I'm American. And let's see how much fight is going on right now all over the globe. So much torture and pain, living entities are being given on the name of uh, this being, that being. It's all external if you think it, if you think about it. And people are taking pride in that. So we have to surrender. Surrender means engage in the process of devotional service. Identify the importance of Sambhuti and understand that there is immortality around you, and that immortality is happening through the process of transmigration, repeated birth and death. So one has to come out of it. Okay, so surrender is very important. And through that, what happens? We attain the eternal life. That's what this verse says. That uh, amritam anshute, ashnute, ashnute. For sure, living entity will be granted the eternal life. Okay, so that's the goal. Amritam ashnute. Sambhutya amritam ashnute. By knowing this, we will be granted the immortality and no more transmigration. And then the very last part emphasize that you can you can dwell on the process of karma or jnana or mystic yoga, or you can dwell on any other process that is result of your false ego. That is your process, or that That is a process you are buying into without having sufficient evidence. But that is the process that your intelligence is supporting. But know for sure that there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So if a living entity wants to achieve Amritam Ashnute, for sure, Ashnute for sure, granted. If you want to have your immortality, then bhakti is the process by which you can come to Atyantika Parlaya that we are talking about. This is basically granted to those living entity who have purified their existence by process of devotional service. So we all have to understand, and that's the teaching that we must know that what is the path and where we are right now and how to go back to Krishna for sure. And the path, as it says here, there's no other path, there is no other path, there is no other path. The path is only bhakti, bhakti, and bhakti. So very beautifully, this verse, this section, help us understand what is Sambhuti, what is Asambhuti, and what is our eternal goal that one should strive for. So that's the basically uh, result, or that is the outcome of this particular section. Both Vidya, Avidya, and Sambhuti, Asambhuti put together brings us to that understanding. It says balancing Avidya and Vidya grants immortality. See, verse number 11 says that if you if you balance Vidya and Avidya, then it will grant immortality. The same Vidya and Avidya has been expanded more, and it is made more clear with some clarity. What exactly is Avidya? Avidya is anything that is going to be destructed, vinasate. And what is Vidya? Eternal, eternity. The spiritual word is eternal. The process of bhakti is eternal. Soul is eternal. So when soul is engaged in the eternal process, which is devotional service, name, form, quality, and pastime of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then by taking those, slowly the soul regains its original identity, and that is immortality. We are not mortal living entity. The body is mortal, soul is immortal. So we regain our immortality by engaging in the process of bhakti. But then one has to know it. That's what this section is talking about. From verse number 9 to 14, that's what we talked about. That one emphasis, overemphasis. Again and again, it's being emphasized. Too much emphasis on this particular content that, hey, living entity, hey, living entity, hey, living entity. You know that you have some duty to follow. Still we get trapped, you know, because Bharang Shakti is very powerful. So the next four verses, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now we have this understanding. We know what is Vidya, what is Avidya, what is Sambhuti, what is Asambhuti. So we are going to now pray. We are going to pray the Supreme Lord that, my dear Lord, thank you so much. I understand now, but please help me understand. So first prayer is that I don't want to approach your impersonal feature. So please help me understand your form. Okay, that's what we'll get into in next class. So with that, I would like to definitely. So this would be pretty clear, right? This is pretty clear. The way the verses are put into order very nicely. It tells a beautiful story. So I would like to definitely hear what you have understood so far and what you are learning as we are going along. So with that, I would like to give you a pause. We have some time. Let's hear from you.
Hare Krishna
Devotees,
Prabhuji.
yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. That was from Krishna Prabhu.
Done.
Yeah, nice description and explanation, Prabhuji. So, couple of points here. Take home for me is that the external energy, which is also again nothing is coming from anywhere else. Everything is coming from Krishna only. Maya tadamidam sarvam jagatavyaktamurtina. So that way, his energy is expanded. But the internal and external energies, when we are talking about, and of course marginal energy also, we belong to marginal, right? So this Maya, which is part of the external energy, is very strong, very difficult to overcome. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi Hesha Mai Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Etam Tirantite. So as you are saying, like surrender, I think this is in this verse clearly Krishna says, whoever surrenders unto him, this Maya is so powerful, so strong. It is very difficult to overcome, but the people or devotees who surrender to Krishna at this lotus feet, then it will become very easy. Then that is the one point I was thinking when you were explaining this. And as well as the Amritatva, the immortality, explaining, that is also like in 14th chapter, there is a verse is there, whoever is transcended these three modes of material nature, Gunani etan atitiyatrin dehe deha samudvavan janma mrityu jara dukhair vimukto amritamasnute, right? So whoever transcended three modes of nature, they can they can taste the nectar, that amrita, even in this life. So, and to transcend the three modes of material nature, also one has to. Krishna says that bhakti. So the bhakti only one able to transcend three modes of nature. Again, it comes to the same point. Surrender to Krishna, then obviously we'll get that state of amritatva. So yeah, those are the couple of points, Prabhuji. Thank you. So nice
Thank you.
explanation.
Nice summary. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So just I wanted to add one point, like, yeah, Sambhuti
Try.
Asambhuti, right, Prabhu? So yes, by knowing it, it's all helps. Like, see, Asambhuti, darkness, Sambhuti is like whatever we need to go for God. And we discussed about the energies, internal energy, external energy, and Tatastha Shakti, Tatastha. So definitely we are in Tatastha, and we are always, of course, we need to surrender to the Lord, but it is not one time. I mean, it just as we surrender, it is not like we should stop the process, or we think that okay, we are in separate. We should continue our practices, because Maya is also Krishna's energy. That is the external energy, and it is always be strong. That is also Krishna's energy, and we still keep on trying. It's like sometimes if we stop, it's like again we'll pull into to the Maya.
Yeah.
So either as we are in the middle, uh, we always need to travel towards the internal energy, that is towards the Lord. Otherwise automatically we'll fall down to towards Maya, so there is no standing point. Knowing this really helps, bro. Thank you, bro.
Prabhuji, I have a very different question, maybe logical question. Can I ask Prabhuji? Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yeah, Prabhu, please go ahead. Continue.
So again, not related to, I mean, related to Parlayaj, but it just question came in mind. I thought, let me get clarified here. Um, so in this yuga right now, Kali Yuga, we see that before getting into the question, my few things. One is getting to human form of life is very rare. It takes a lot of devotion, bhakti, and definitely then only human form of life we get it. Now, looking at right now time, I mean, looking into a situation where we see that population is increasing. What was previous and now what is going, it's going up and up, increasing more and more. Now the question is, and also we know that lot of backed activities, a karmic, kind of some sinful activities going on. Cow, killing the animals, the cow, everything. It's what was previous and what is happening is increasing. But now the question is how this human form of life getting an increase, even though a lot of sin activities are happening. If someone does this sin activity, they should not get a human form of life. But we see that killing going on and human form of life also going on. I was, is logically I was thinking how this is happening in this situation in the current time. I cannot hear you, Prabhuji. I think you're mute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah. 1 minute, Prabhu. 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you.
Just 1 minute. Somebody's calling. Hari bol, Prabhu. No, the door is not open. 4868 pound for which one? 4868 pound. 4868 pound. That's the password. 4868 pound. Okay. 4868. So now I'm asking them to open with 4868 pound. My team is stuck there because they cannot get inside. They are here to do the practice and they are calling me. So yeah. What's the number? What's the number? Can you give me the? I gave it to them. Now they will try. Okay. Okay. Yeah, they will try. So you can give me the number also, Prabhu. What's the number of the person? I can. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Just 1 minute, Prabhu. 1 minute, Prabhuji, 1 minute. Okay. The key worked out. Prabhu, 4868 is working now. So they are good. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I'm also leaving. I'll be there by 9:30. Yes, they are there. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody was at the gate. We are doing public Janmashtami and they were stuck. So I had to give them the right key. Yes, Prabhu. So you said, Prabhuji, Satyanand Prabhu, can you please repeat once again? Sorry for that.
No, so I was saying, Prabhu, the situation like, current situation where a lot of sin activities are also going on. At the
Yeah.
same time, the population is also.
Yeah. It's all avidya, Prabhu.
Now, how this is a normal. So should not let someone to get into human form life, but how this is happening? And it's not. It's a logical. Maybe that's a question I was asking about.
So how living entities, they are not getting the form of the body, of the human body? That's what you were saying?
So
Why
yeah. So
human?
current
Why the
situation.
living entity, the soul is not getting the form of the human being? That's what you were saying? Why it
It is in.
happened?
It is happening more and more. in the human form. Population is increasing, at the same time sinful activity is increasing. Ideally, if I do the sinful activity, I will not get the human form of life, I'll get something else.
Yes, no, Prabhu, but sinful activities are increasing too. At the same time, people are becoming also more devotional. Like you see, in our Hare Krishna temple, there are more people coming now than it was coming 10 years back. Sunday feast or festival, I see more people. There are more people who are believing in Jesus Christ than they believed before. There are more people who are, taking their spiritual path than they take before. Like, for example, after COVID, most of the people were forced. So many people who were, very pessimistic, very, I know, against religious belief, they all are slowly and slowly believing into something. So what happens is that if the living entities are not purely engaged in devotional service, then they get upgrade. They get upgrade, and that upgrade is basically giving them the chance to come into human form. One of the simple example I can give you is Harinam. Devotees are going out and doing Harinam on the street, chanting name of Krishna. All of these living entities, they are hearing, they are they are showing some, attachment, some relations with holy name. So what happens with by doing that, they are granting their human form. So coming into the human form, if one is very much engaged into karma kanda platform, or engage into some charity type of thing, pious activity that they are engaged in, that grant is the human form of life. That's why most of the Indian people, doesn't matter what they are believing in, more or less they're going to be human form in the next life, unless until they become pure devotee, because they have some pious act. They are not necessarily worshiping Krishna, but they will worship some other, Durga, Kali, Shiv, Ganesh, all of that. So those are definitely going to grant you human form of life. But purification would not happen. Purification of the heart happens only when one takes the process of bhakti. Chetudapna marjanam bhav mahadavagni nirvapanam. The heart will get cleaned only when process is devotional service. Through the process of bhakti, the cleansing of the heart happens. For example, people who are in the process of karma yoga, or in the process of other yoga, gyan yoga or ashtanga yoga, they have risk at even at the very higher elevation of their consciousness, they can mislead, they can get back to their bad habit. But through process of bhakti, uh, one completely remove the impurity. And perfect example is meat eating. Just take the example of meat eating. Many of us, or many, if not, had some lower taste in our previous life, or in our previous life. Previous life means life before we became, Krishna devotee, like for following the four regulative principles, and or even eating the prasadam. Did we eat prasadam all the time? Take the example of that. No, most likely not. We just ate whatever food was there. But now, if something is given to you to eat, you would say, "Oh, is it offered to Krishna or not?" So bhakti process, devotional service, really makes everything real, actual. You would not have uh, some degree of you know uh, introspection, some degree of guilt that, oh, I feel so guilty that I stop eating meat. No, it becomes spontaneous. It becomes your nature. You go, no, 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 don't talk about meat. This is so filthy. Please, right? So that's the process. So process of bhakti purifies consciousness. Other process may be there, but purification is not much. Living entities are purified enough to take the form of human. I'm not trying to criticize, but since you ask, people who are going to other places of worship, but still they are eating meat, that is still doing polygamy, illicit sex, there is no purification happening. Some purification is happening because they're at least going and having some faith in the name of Krishna or some form of authority, but their faith is not ultimate. Their practice is not ultimate. So that's how it is. So I'm not surprised, and one should not be surprised. That tells you that overall piety of the society, living a pious life, has gone up, but not gone up to the extent where they will go back to Krishna. Last statement, Prabhupada did say in one of his conversation that he's afraid that many of his followers might end up going to heavenly planet. So we are trying to be Krishna conscious, but still we are using the material mind. I'm the better. I'm this person. I'm that person. Everybody should worship me. Everybody should think I am the best of all the best. This is my place. This is my temple. Get out of it. Who you are, my real, my power. This is all impurity. No matter how you present it, how many people you can attract. Like draws the like. So we have to introspect. That's why Saranam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam, and Asmaranam. This is in a very concise way, four steps of bhakti given. Hearing, and hearing means name, form, quality, and pastime. And then introspecting. Introspection means, am I following the right path, the path that is given to me? And then Nididhyasnam. If I'm not following, then working on it. How can I practice, be the right, follower of Krishna consciousness? And then with that, remembrance of Krishna comes. But if the performance of bhakti is mixed, if it's not pure devotion, if it's mixed bhakti, then it will have good result. That result will not grant you going back to Krishna. The good result will that Suchinam Srimati Age, Krishna has answered in the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that you will get the birth that is of the human form. Maybe you will take the birth in a devotee life, or you will have a birth that is going to give you good education, good wealth, a good looking person. All of that thing will happen. So this is all mentioned in the scripture, and what you are seeing overall is over the result of people being more pious, not being pure devotee, being more pious. So they will come as a human form, but since they have not made sufficient purification, their tendency still would be meat eating, illicit sex, this and that. Are you following me, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
So that's what it is. That's why there is no other way when we say means engage in pure devotional service. Okay. And engaging in pure devotional service is very challenging. Okay. You'll be criticized, people would not like you, you would not be seen political, you would not be accepted by common mass of the people. But then you have to look at the life of six Goswamis. Sri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das, how they live their life, and life of great acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, or if you believe in other acharyas, Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, study their life, know who they are. You know, they did not worry for this small nitty-gritty things. These are all impurities. So, are you going to get tied up with these small things that is false ego, or you are going to perform pure devotional service? Okay, practicing pure devotional service is difficult. You need association of a pure sadhaka, a person who is free from all of this name, fame, designation, identity, temporary glorification and all of that. You have to come out of it. But condition state is very difficult. You'll be charmed by something that is not permanent. You'll be attracted by something that is not eternal because that's your conditioning. But if you have made sufficient advancement, then you will not get attached to all of these things. You would know that this is all energies of Krishna. They are functioning as Krishna directs them. But my goal is to, in every situation, perform pure devotional service, stick with the teaching of Guru Shastra and Sadhu, and be. Sometimes you might be single one to go on that path. But if you have this knowledge, the knowledge that we're talking about, then you would be able to hold everything together and you can proceed on that. So, not to surprise, that's true. Living in it is, the human forms are definitely coming and they are still engaged in the sinful activity because overall piety in the society has increased. People are becoming more pious, and even they take the process of bhakti. They listen all the classes of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, but it's still up to the piety extent. It's one of their pious acts. Bhakti Sastri doesn't grant it that you have become pure devotee. Just you have understood the knowledge, but still you are playing at the stage of pious act. A pure devotional service is a little different. You need to associate with pure devotee, follow their instruction, work with them, watch their life very closely, and then slowly and slowly purify your consciousness. And then you'll go back to Krishna. Okay, Prabhu?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, help. Yeah.
Yes. So we have to have that vision, spiritual vision that is being subject here. It says one has to develop that vision. And overall, as a sadhaka, our goal is to overall all of that we are doing. Why we are doing? We are doing because we want to help ourselves. We want to help ourselves become a pure devotee. So as much as possible, try to be pure devotee and remove the impurity. One thing, and that will be the last thing that I would like to tell. At your present stage of Krishna consciousness, wherever you are, don't do anything that your present understanding of Krishna consciousness does not allow you to do. Did you follow me, Prabhu? What did I say?
Not fully, Prabhuji. I
Okay.
mean, a
At
little.
present stage of your Krishna consciousness, we all are somewhere in our Krishna consciousness, not fully pure soul. We have some degree of contamination. But even with that contamination, there is some degree of advancement. Okay. We are somewhere in our Krishna consciousness. So based on your current status of Krishna consciousness, if there are certain action that does not make sense to you, please don't do it. Do you follow what I'm saying?
It is, yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes. If you cannot do that much, then forget about moving up. You cannot move up because whatever wealth you have given, whatever wealth Krishna has given you, are not able to use it. Then why more wealth will come to you? So it's very important. Sometimes people do not understand this secret, but we have to we have to be very competent in understanding. That's called introspection, mananam. We should introspect ourselves and understand where I am in my Krishna consciousness and what I'm doing is right, what I'm doing is wrong. Certain thing that does not make sense to me at my stage of Krishna consciousness, then I should not do that. Then slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, Krishna will increase your understanding about bhakti and God consciousness. Okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hope you understood everything that I said, or most of it, or not.
Yes, Prabhuji. It is very simple way you explain, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, we have to. So, Prabhu, one thing for sure, and for other devotees, don't take it granted. Don't be very prideful that, oh, ultimately, I'm the only one who is trying to be Krishna conscious. No, you can get stuck even in this process too. Okay, you can get stuck. You can start using these tools for wrong reasons. They say that you are on the highway, but you are driving the wrong direction. So we want to get on the highway. We are on the highway. We want to drive towards Krishna, not away from Krishna, which means what is needed for me to purify my consciousness and stay on the true path of devotional service. Nadanam najanam na sundarim kavita vajagadis kamai mam janmani janmani ishware bhavtad bhakti hetu kitoi. Sometimes we'll be alone. That's okay. If you have the strength, a spiritual strength, which is coming from Guru Shastra and Sadhu, you can easily walk a single alone and you'll be fine. Okay, I'm fine, because so develop the relationship, that that attachment with Krishna, depend on Krishna. These are the symptoms of pure devotion. I'm doer, but I know that I'm trying my best. Ultimately things are happening by the mercy of Krishna, Prabhupada. you know so that type of dependency, if you develop on pure devotee, slowly and slowly you will turn and transform into pure devotee. But if you think that I can do everything by myself, whatever I'm doing is a great, everybody should not live single. Prabhupada said that no. If you start having too much independency, then false ego will come. And then slowly and slowly it will devour you. So be very humble, very dependent. Give all credit to Krishna. I have no credit. I'm just trying to do devotional service. Krishna has given me opportunity to do some devotional service. I have to humbly and sincerely and with pure mind, I have to perform. Result, whatever happens. As long as I am on the pure devotional service, I'm good. Okay, Prabhu? Some of these things you have to be very, very careful. Then don't worry too much about anything else. I always say only one thing that we have to worry, am I performing pure devotional service or not? Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Can we adjourn here then?
Thank you, Prabhu. Just I wanted to recall that point, whatever you said. So, yeah, we are not in that consciousness, so we need to have a faith, and if it is not doesn't make sense, also we need to try our best to do the things, and results may happen. Right, Prabhu? I really have that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Dandavad. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. वंशकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय दंडवत प्रणाम to everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you so
Prabhu.
much.